Night here at Kempton, a lovely evening, and Rachel Cadlaw has been with me throughout tonight. We are having a look at these horses ahead of this 2-mile handicap. Tulane is the first division. Kieran Schumacher will be on board for Richard Phillips. Likeable enough, be running okay this year.
Yeah, he has. He's won from 22, but he has been more or less consistent his last couple of starts. The most important thing is that one win was here over course and distance, which we do have a fair amount of course and distance winners in today's contest. Last time out he finished third. He was keen before sort of plugging on. That was over 2 miles at Chepstow. He's from the family of Yates, and he looks quite well in his coat, considering he's one of 2 horses in the paddock.
We're just seeing Echo Brava come into the paddock, a really striking son of Proclamation, and this horse who will have Aidan Keeley on board for the Rebecca Woodman team, now a 12-year-old.
He's won twice here at Kempton over 1 mile and 12 furlongs. That was a long time ago. I mean, just look at him. He looks like he should be having Santa on him or something, the way he's just a big, solid grey. Just a little trip there, just having a look around, saying hi to various people. This horse has been unplaced in 2 runs over 2 miles on the flat, has been seen jumping, but hasn't been in a handicap for a long time, since January of 2019. He's been running in classified, so potentially back in a handicap company might help.
Yeah, he's doing his best Desert Orchid impression as he goes past the statue there. Bird for Life is next. Isabel Francis taking £7 off for Mark Usher. 70th career start tonight for this mare.
Yeah, and she's won 7 of them. She's won twice here over 12 furlongs, but more important, she's a 5 times 2 mile winner. If you want to back her, which I wouldn't put anybody off, because she's a solid performer, she will fall out of the gate and you will not see her until the very end of the race.
Guilty Party will have Danny Muscat on board for Patrick Chammings, another mare, but she is 0 from 7.
Yeah, 5-year-old mare. She needs to find a little bit of form on these horses. She's been off the track for a couple of months. Prior to that, she was off the track for 8 months. She looks a bit big, that she might come on a little bit for this run.
Gavlar for Michael Atwater and Jason Watson. He is an 11-year-old who's only run the once this year, where he was 3rd behind another rival, Bird for Life.
And he will definitely come on for that run. He's got 3 wins here over course and distance. Kempton is by far his most favourite track, but it's been 29 runs in 4 years since his last win, so hopefully he's come on loads for that last performance.
Iconic Mover is the next one we're going to have a look at. John Egan and Pat Phelan will team up, and this one was a 66 to 1/3 at Epsom last time over 1 mile 4 furlong. Uncertain, I thought, to say the 2 miles.
Yeah, he was outplaced last time out, but he was last of 12 in his only start over 2 furlongs. He's one of the smaller horses in the field today.
7 is Taxameet for Tom Queally and Chris Gordon, just having her 2nd run for this yard. 0 from 9. Didn't look an obvious stay over this trip at Chelmsford in May.
No, that was his only try over 2 miles. At that point, finished 3rds, just sort of staying on. Last time at Bath over the 1 mile and 5 was staying on again. So it will be interesting if they go a good gallop, whether or not that might find her out.
We'll drop 2 back to horse 1. This is I Doubt That for Pat Dobbs and Jimmy Fox. This is the one that brought back that huge gamble here 2 starts ago. He was luckless in his run after that, now steps right up and trip.
He's a nice, big, strong horse. He actually looks more like a sprinter than a stayer. And I think the extra half mile on the flat might just suit him. He was traveling really powerfully when trapped last time out. And again, when he landed that gamble, when he was backed in from 33s to 11 to 4 at that time here, you're sitting there going, nobody's going to peg him back. He's just going to make all the running. Yes, he did. And he's followed up since, so obviously the handicapper's gotten him right.
Yeah, he's a short price to win here again. Next is Belle Boutel for Lorenzo Artozzi and Stuart Williams, a daughter of Zoffany, who was 5th behind subsequent Goodwood winner Keys Chorister last time out.
Yeah, caught the filly before she going on to 1 4 times. It was outpaced. Green stayed on for Stuart Williams, stepping up again a lot in trip, 4.5 furlongs today. That might see her to better effect, but she is a 3-year-old in this field, 1 of 2, so she does get that hefty 13 pounds weight for age allowance.
Conquering for William Muir and Chris Grassick is the next one. Son of Darbarism, Sylvester Sousa will be on board. Very unexposed, this horse.
Yes, he has only had 4 starts. Best run was when third in the handicap debut last time. That was a 3-year-old only handicap debut. Cheek pieces went on, was slow away. The front 2 are always prominent. They've taken the cheek pieces off. He's a big, nice son of Dabarism, and again, another one who gets a big chunk of weight off his back because he's a 3-year-old.
And the last horse we'll look at, this is the daughter of Helmet, Mint Julep, for Josh Bryan, who was second in our previous race, Dan Steele, the trainer. And this horse, only 9 runs to her name, still looking to shed her maiden tag.
But has been placed twice, including here on the only run over 2 miles, went third at the end of 2021.
OK, the bell is gone and the jockeys will be getting on board ahead of our final race here tonight at Kempton. So we'll head back to Tom in the studio.
As we see the last of them making their way around. So 6-5 is I Doubt That for Pat Dobbs and Jimmy Fox. Looking to land well, I'd say another stable gamble. I mean, it seemed the case on first start here over a mile and a half, but they then went back to 10 and now going over this distance, over a good bit further. Owen Little, 11-2. Tulane is 7-1. Conquering, 15-2. 11-1 and bigger the rest. So interesting with I Doubt That. Could easily be well ahead of this mark, of a mark of 55. But the question to an extent is the distance. As far as the market has it, no worries, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, landed, as we said in the paddock, that huge gamble here 2 starts ago. They're clearly pretty confident that he's going to be able to take this huge step right up and trip. Obviously, it is an unknown, but this is a horse that potentially still could be well handicapped, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, the £5 he went up for the win here 2 starts ago, he definitely showed at Lingfield last time that he'd be able to handle that. I mean, they dropped him down to 10 furlongs last time, and he actually had enough pace to sort of travel confidently and powerfully into the race before getting stuck in a pocket. Back to Kempton will suit the style of track, and I think up and trip might definitely suit, because they thought enough of him to go juvenile hurdling, so there must be a little bit of thought that he could stay the trip back when he was in Ireland. And I wonder if from stall 3 they'll employ the same tactics that they did to win 2 starts ago, which was just go to the front and say, catch me if you can.
Pat Dobbs is on board again. Only ride of the night. He's come to Kempton and waited all the way to 10-9 to get on this horse. So he's clearly confident that he can justify this favouritism position. Next in the betting, though, is Owen Little. I don't think we actually got the opportunity to have a look at him in the paddock. A 2-time winner for this yard, including over this distance, which is the key, I think.
Yeah, won over course and distance a while ago last year, and then in February this year won over 1 mile to 6 at Wolverhampton. And then they've been running him over 1.5 miles, so the step back up will definitely suit. At last time out, he was staying on. He was hampered before staying on, so stepping up and trip again will suit. In that race, Thunder Flash, the winner, has won again since. The second has won again since. So the race last time at Leicester has very, very much worked out. And I think back here at Kempton, where he has very, very good record, I think he's definitely one that's on the quite long short list.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of deadwood in here, considering they're horses that just have been taking a while to show any sorts of form and looking to shed their maiden tag. But I do think Conquering, one of the most unexposed ones, that's the one that's really intriguing me, and it's 15-2 now. I think it was as big as 10-1 earlier today. What do you make of his chances?
I think of the 2 3-year-olds in this race, he is definitely the one you want to be on the right side of. He's making his all-weather debut today. That should be absolutely fine. He went down quite nicely. In his handicap debut, he finished 3rd, having prior been nowhere in his 3 maidens and novices. They stepped him up to 1.5 miles last time. He was really slow away. The front 2 were always prominent, and he finished steaming clear of the 4th. The second's come out and won again since at Wolves, so that it's really worked out. They've taken the cheek pieces off today. I like how he looked in the paddock. He was quite big and strong, and compared to some, you wouldn't have been able to tell he was necessarily the 3-year-old in the race compared to some of the other runners.
For a 2-mile race at Kempton, I've seen a lot of them over the last few months, or last year. There's got quite a good feel to it because there's a good field size, and there could be a good bit of pace around as well.
Yeah, there could be. You've got the likes of I Doubt That, who he said made all the running to start to go, was held up last time, but that was over 10, so you just might not have been able to lay up with the early pace. You have Gavlar, who likes to go forward. Tulane, Tasmat definitely likes to go forward. Iconic Movers got stall 1. John Egan might just think, well, let's just go. Paddy, who's who's the rank outsider, he's shown a bit of early pace. And just to mention, I don't know if Tom mentioned it, but Stefano Cerci has taken over from Tyler Hurd, who got ejected quite violently from the starting gate last time. Obviously just looked okay, but stood down by the doctor for this race. So that is now Stefano Cerci is aboard Rakish Paddy.
Yeah, he is, and I just think, you know, sometimes I can see these 2 mile races and they can go in single file, but it doesn't feel like this race will do, which sets up for what is a weak enough race, competitive enough race anyway, and won't make things that straightforward for Pat Dobbs, and I doubt that. I wonder how he's going to work out how to best to use him to make sure that he can definitely stay.
I think he'll probably sit second, third, somewhere like that, sort of slot in, maybe not necessarily make the running, because I mean, he's such a big, strong horse. I don't think Jimmy Fox has entered into a 2 mile race and say, well, let's just hope he gets the trip. I think they probably have the feeling that he'll be absolutely fine, because the horses like the likes of Tulane, Gavlar, with respect, they're slow. They need this trip. So if nobody's going, these jockeys are going to go and make this a true stamina test, which I think might find a few little chinks in certain horses' armor. But I doubt that, even though it is a big ass up a half a mile in trip, I just get the feeling from what this horse has done 2 starts for this yard so far, they know exactly what they have.
Well, at 6 to 5, he's been backed in and is pretty solid to do so. Tulane 6 to 1, Owen Little 13 to 2. As we come to the end of our evening here at Kempton, and it looks like we've got about 3 or 4 left to go. Any others worth mentioning before we hand up to Mark for the final time?
Well, I think with as much pace on paper that there appears to be, and again, it may or may not actually translate into the race, Bird for Life, as we said, 70th career start today, 7 wins overall, including a couple here. She's a 5 times 2 mile winner. That can't go fast enough for her up front, because she wants a race to implode, and she will just pluckily stay on and pick up the spoils. And the cheek pieces the last couple of times have definitely seemed to work. The Oracle, she didn't like Chepstow last time. That's absolutely fine, never traveling. Some horses don't handle it, but prior to that, she was relatively consistent. At 11 to 1, she'd be the each-way squeak. But like I said, don't look for her until the absolute end of the race.
Well, can I Doubt That take the step up in trip in his stride? We'll find out, and we'll head up to Mark for the final time this evening.
Thanks, Jess and Rachel. Last couple moving forward then. Last one to go in will be Conquering with Sylvester Sousa. Last one moving forward now. They're in the gate. And they're off. 14 of them sent on their journey of 2 miles in the Unibet Extra Place offers everyday handicap. It is Gavlar who's been kept quite wide in the early stages. Bird for Life hasn't picked up the bit early and trails them and is being ridden along. The early lead is with Bel Boutai. Bel Boutai goes on to Rakish Paddy, who races in second. Taximart, he's quite keen up against Inside Rail in third. Conquering is 3 deep in fourth between runners. Tulane in fifth. The Inside Rail, Iconic Mover, is in sixth. And in 7th place is Mint Julep. Mint Julep is being followed by Gavlar around the outside of I Doubt That as they make the turn in for the first time. Guilty Party is next. Guilty Party racing alongside Owen Little. Then Echo Brava, who is the grey. Last but one early is Gavin, and the back marker is Bird for Life. Inside the final mile and a half they go. Bel Boutai against the Inside Rail, the red of Rakish Paddy, and then the yellow cap on the outside. That is Conquering. Those are the first 3. Gavlar gets a little bit closer now out wide and has moved into 4th position as they come up past the enclosure with a circuit to go. Taximart, the pale blue against the Inside Rail, is in 5th and closing, followed by Tulane on the outside of Iconic Mover as they go towards the halfway point. Next in the field is Mint Julep. Mint Julep racing towards the outside of I Doubt That. A length and a half away on the turn to Guilty Party, who races alongside Owen Little. And then on the inner is Echo Brava, who's alongside Gavin, and still the back marker is Bird for Life. They've completed a mile, so they're at halfway, and Bel Boutai leads by half a length. Hustled on the outside, Conquering now to try and press the pace. A length and a half back to Gavlar, who is just in third. Taximart on the inside is in fourth. Rakish Paddy now shuffled back to fifth. A couple of lengths then to Tulane, who's racing alongside Iconic Mover as they go midway down the back straight. I Doubt That has travelled well into the race. He's racing alongside Mint Julep. Out wide is Gavin, who's now trying to make a sweeping move, spot the light blue and purple out wide, and he is now beginning to make a move onto the heels of the leading group. Meanwhile, at the other end of the field, Bird for Life is still last, and last but one is Echo Brava. They're about to go into the far turn and on towards the final half mile. Belle Boutai against the rail. On that one's outside is Conquering. Now Gavlar is being ridden along in third position. Taximart on the inside is in fourth. Gavin continues to sweep around the runners 3 deep, but he now is about to take third. In his slipstream, Tulane has travelled well. Iconic Mover, followed by I Doubt That, another one who creeps into contention. He's gone by now Guilty Party as they make the turn in, and Conquering has got the lead. Conquering to Taximart, who still travels well. Tulane on the outside of Gavin. Towards the inside now, beginning to pick up Iconic Mover, and out wide, I Doubt That still travels well. From a long way back, Guilty Party tries to pick up. Bird for Life now begins to fly. Inside the final furlong and a half, I Doubt That now strikes and goes for home. Iconic Mover is in second. Bird for Life is about to take third, but inside the final half furlong, it is I Doubt That who is out in front. There's no doubt about it. The winner of the nightcap is I Doubt That. In second came Iconic Mover, in third Bird for Life, and in fourth was Guilty Party.
I Doubt That takes the step up and trip in his stride and wins comfortably in the hands of Pat Dobbs, short price favourite, and he is pretty eye-catching in the end, and it's a big run in second from Iconic Mover. Back in third is Bird for Life, who did a lot of good work late on, but this was a nice performance from I Doubt That, and as we were saying, stepping up and trip, Rachel, stays all day.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem, and Pat Dobbs never looked uncomfortable on him. You can see him in the quartered cap just sitting about 4 back. He had the red saddle towel. Pat Dobbs just absolutely standing up. I mean, no big deal. As a lot of horses, the likes of Gavin, started to sweep around the outside. Some other horses tried to go and get places, but it's right there that Pat Dobbs actually saw that Rakish Paddy was going to begin to come back into his lap, so he decided to switch to the outside, which I thought was a really good move, because while it meant he was a little bit wide going into the top end of the turn, it meant that some of the horses that were beginning to cry enough at about 1 3/4 stage, he was clear of them, and then it gave him the option to just slingshot around the outside. He followed Tulane into the race, and I mean, the thing is, he's still absolutely travelling, whereas some of the other ones, the likes of Conquering and Bella Boutique up front and Taximat, they're asking their horses to go, but Pat Dobbs only now just begins to change his hands and just switches him out, and just goes. If you look on the inside, you see horse with yellow sleeves and hood right there has to take off the going backwards Bella Boutique. That was Guilty Party. He had all sorts of trouble in the run. He was ridden into the first turn, ridden again. He had to take off heels very badly there, and for a stayer just beginning to get into stride, you don't want to do that, but he stayed on really nicely into fourth. If you want to sort of have a notebook horse at this level, at this trip, he's an 0 for 8 maiden. She's an 0 for 8 maiden now, but showed enough today that there might be something, but there was never in doubt about I Doubt That, and we know he can win over 1.5 miles. He's got the speed to be effective over 10. He can go up to 2.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, this was a brilliant change of trainer, a change of yard, move over to this country all-weather surface. Might just be his bag, but there's a bit of money he can win, because also he does it so easily. The handicapper can't penalise him excessively.
Yeah, he's versatile as well, isn't he? Back at Kempton, obviously shown to good effect with the tongue tie fitted for the first time. That's obviously been a big key to him as well, and clearly that this is a horse they can have a lot of fun with, because, as I said, versatile, and they're only probably scraping the surface of what he can achieve, and there'll probably be other prizes to win with him. But Pat Dobbs come all the way to Kempton for just one ride right at the end of the day here at Kempton, and it's well worth it, Tom.
Very much so. Job done. One of Pat Dobbs. Very much worth waiting for 6 to 5 favourite scores. Iconic Mover was second, 28 to 1. Bird for Life third, 11 to 1. And the time 3:32:20. 7.6 outside of the standard. All right, so that's Tuesday done. We're on air tomorrow at 1:45. Be marking your card ahead of Pontefract, and then in the evening, Kempton and Sligo. That's the action tomorrow on the channel. 1:45, marking your card. First race is at 2:20 at Ponty. And we can get out and get the thoughts of everyone on course now for the evening action. We'll start at Chelmsford with Nick Lightfoot.
That brings to a close just 6 here at Chelmsford, a rarity in itself, but 50% of which taken out by Harry Davis. Really significant for him, given the fact that as of tomorrow he'll be sitting out for that prolonged period, given the ban, but also his big rival.